Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now, let's go, baby. Now, today's special guest, I'm going to interview the one and only my special guest who is a cosplayer. My special guest likes anime. My special guest likes the superhero genre. And my special guest loves to go to Comic Cons as much as my special guest can. But my special guest is not from the Jurassic Park universe. My special guest may not be the T Rex, but here on Earth 616, it's the one and only cosplayer Rex. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Now, what I always like to ask every cosplayer, I gotta know, what was your first cosplay outfit?
Do you want my first like official cosplay
Yes,
outfit?
please.
All right. So like after I knew what cosplay was, because like I've been making costumes my whole life, but I really got into it seriously a couple years ago. So it was for New York Comic Con 2022. So all the characters I did that. So I guess it'd be like my kind of X-Men 90s classic yellow and blue Wolverine, and then like a Sam Raimi take on Agent Venom.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So, when did you learn or how did you learn how to make your own costumes, and what category would you put yourself in as far as making a costume? Are you like a sewer, a 3D printer, or something else?
I guess the category I would mostly fit into would be a foam smith. That's kind of like where I started was, watching people like Odin Makes, Sean Productions, and then, a few of those other YouTubers out there. But I learned to work with foam pretty early, and that's kind of my strongest suit. And then, now I try to do a little bit more of the sewing, a little bit more of the 3D printing. But my love will always be getting foam, cutting it, shaping it, and all that good stuff.
Awesome. I was looking through a lot of your photos on Instagram, and I really curious, like, how long did it take you to really hone the craft when it comes to like the makeup and the paint face? Because you really have some really good ones. Like man, like how long did it take you to do all that?
Um, Surprisingly, not as long as I thought it would be. I always feel like I'm improving. Like every time I rewear a costume that does face paint, um, I always get better at it, or I find like different ways. And I still don't know a lot of like glamour makeup. So as I kind of learn more of that, I'm like, oh, let me add that to a cosplay. But I really only started really doing makeup pretty heavy within the last year.
Awesome. And I noticed that you have like professional photo shoots. My next question is, what was one that you just was like having struggle with? It was frustrating at times, but at the end of everything is done, you're like, wow, this turned out great. Like this is my best right here. Like, what was that one for you like?
I think that one about 2 years ago now was actually the first photo shoot that I organized, and it was a large X-Men group over at Belvedere Castle in Central Park, and it was really nerve wracking because it was my first time ever like finding because I'd been part of some other photo shoots before, but it was my first time actually casting everyone, like getting the group together, finding the photographers, making sure photographers got paid, making sure everyone paid for the shoot, and then just getting everyone there at that location, and then kind of working with the time of like hey, do we want to just kind of hang out and get as many pictures as we can, or like do people got to go at certain times? So it was a big headache, but at the end of the day, I still look back at those pictures and I was like, that is one of the best days of doing cosplay that I've ever had.
And would you say that has your confidence or maybe the nervousness to do outside photo shoots like that has gone down, or is it still there where you're like, oh, I'm still nervous?
I never really had that issue of wearing costumes out in public, like outside of conventions. So that helped. But there is that, every now and then, especially if you're going somewhere really niche, like I think especially outside of New York City, where more people are kind of like, what are you what are you doing? And you just got to be like, whatever, I'm having fun. They can either, say like, oh, those are nice costumes, or they'll just kind of give you those weird looks. And at the end of the day, it's who cares? I'm doing what makes me happy.
Yeah, that I totally agree. I would say I still get nervous going outside and like in general, but
Hmm.
like you can always find but there's always cool spots outside that you can recreate a scene, like whether you're Batman, Superman, or an anime character. Like I always learn that the outside has really good spots and scenery for whatever cosplay character that whoever's portraying. You know, I wish in a perfect world, like for me, I can have a studio where I can have all the green screens and all the tricks and magic, but you can never go wrong going outside, especially like I don't know why, but this just when the sun's outside, it helps your lighting in
It
general.
it's great. I've talked with this a lot, and I prefer, especially now, I've done so many conventions that they all kind of feel the same. And not saying you get bad pictures at conventions, but it's a lot harder because either it's just on a big blank black, white, or gray wall, or you have a whole bunch of just random people in the background. And so now my cosplay, I really like to take doing photo shoots at a studio, because I know for a lot of photographers, it's a controlled room and settings that it helps them with their camera work. But if you find someone that can work with their camera outside, no matter what type of sun exposure or even at nighttime, bringing their own lights, anytime I can go on to a location, that is my preferred method of really bringing these characters to life and not just wearing a costume to wear a costume.
Awesome. And if you could share with us, do you have a cosplay outfit you haven't done yet, but you want to do soon in the near future?
Yeah. Um, Currently, I've started to gather the materials, but I really love the Absolute Universe that DC has been putting out, and Absolute Wonder Woman is one of my favorite.
Oh
So
yeah, mine
I'm
too.
currently working on taking the idea of Absolute Wonder Woman, but taking it to a more traditional Greek style and gender bending it. So I'm taking like the look of a Greek hoplite armor in the style of Absolute Wonder Woman and still going to have the giant Buster sword. I think I measured it out. It's going to be about 6 to 7 feet tall.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
I definitely want to see that. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Hoping to debut that Saturday of New York Comic Con this year.
Oh yeah. And speaking of Comic Con, have you do you stay within your like where you're at, or have you travel outside to like the West Coast, the Midwest, the South?
I, so, with me getting kind of into conventions the last 3 years, mostly have been in the tri state area of Jersey, PA, and New York. But I kind of hop between those three. But I'm actually originally from Washington State, so it's always a good chance for me to go back home and see family. But also, I go to Emerald City Comic Con, so I've done that. I actually did that this year, and then 2 years ago. So I really like that convention. I'm hoping to get to Florida for Holiday Matsuri maybe this year, if not next year. And then I might try a convention in Detroit this October because I have some friends out there as well.
Nice. The one I always go to because I'm from Illinois is Chicago Con,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's their big our biggest one. But for me, I always dream about going to San Diego or the one of the Funko Pops Comic Cons or
They have their
cons.
own Comic Cons.
Yeah, yeah, it's called Funko Con. They used to do it
Okay.
in New York, but now I'm noticing they do it in the Europe side,
Oh,
which
okay.
basically because I'm a huge like Funko Pop collector. Like I got from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to
That's what's up.
Winnie the Pooh. This
Hmm.
is a this is a diamond one too. So this is why I like to go to those Funko Pop cons because over there they show exclusive ones that they won't
Hmm.
sell yet, but they'll sell it within that area. And so that's
Gotcha.
always my dream to go because I would love to get my hands on a Funko Pop before they hit the stores or whatever. So
Yeah, no,
I
I get that. That'd be cool.
um now you were just mentioning some a Wonder Woman. I was just your opinion if you have seen the movie the Superman film in a non-spoiler way, what did you think of it?
I loved it. 5 out of 5. It is exactly what the character needed to kind of be brought back into the main pop culture sphere and not seen as, you know, not seen as boring because I know that's a big issue people always say with Superman. And I'm so tired of the evil Superman trope. I don't want to see Homelander. I don't want to see Brightburn. I don't want to see Injustice. I and I'm gonna say it. I don't want to see more Zack Snyder
Yeah, yeah.
Superman. Like this, it was anything I could have wanted. I really can't think of any gripes. There might be like one or two nitpicks that I could probably figure out if I see it a second or third time, but just off the one time I've seen it, it was amazing.
Well, now I'm gonna kind of spoil it, but I just want your opinion because even James Gunn's confirmed it. But how do you feel about Superman's parents' message? Like, are you to me? Okay, before you start, I agree with James Gunn. Like his where he's from, they look down on Earth. Like
Yeah.
I honestly would not. I wouldn't be surprised if his parents were, you know, kind of dickish in a way. I hate to say it, but what do you think?
Originally, after I watched it and I got out of the theater, I was talking with my buddy that I went and saw it with. I was like, "Oh man, I really hate that." And then we kind of had a conversation, and it was like, "No, it makes sense, especially how Krypton is portrayed in a lot of media of it being kind of like old medieval times, but still super sophisticated. It would make sense for them to want to continue their empire. Like it's not just a planet, like the entire planet is kind of one culture, is how we mostly see it. So it would make sense. And I just think it stands to show that even though Clark was sent to Earth to be this ruler and have a dominion over the planet, it shows to who he really is in his heart and how his actual parents, Ma and Pa Kent, raised him to be. And so I think I appreciate it now more that even though this is who he was meant to be, he became something so much better.
And that I totally agree with you because like when Lex, because you know what, Lex Luthor, he doesn't, and maybe I'm wrong, but I always known that Lex Luthor was never a quote unquote a liar. So if he said he didn't have to mess with the video, he's like, I just can't believe his parents gave me this, I believe him because I don't think he lies. He tricks you, he'll play you, he'll out business you, you know, but I don't think he would lie. I don't think I mean, I'm sure he would tamper with it, but if he says he didn't tamper with it, Like to me, just as the character Lex Luthor is, I don't think he is one of those villains who lies. Not like the Joker, not like uh Scarecrow or whatever. Just I don't think he would lie like that.
No, that makes sense. And when, like I said, when I was first watching the movie, I didn't really believe it and I didn't really like it. But yeah, it does make sense for Lex. Like, why would I have to tarnish something? Like, if that evidence that I could use against Superman's already there, I'm gonna press with that. And so yeah, it just, again, at first I was like, that's weird, and it's like, oh, I kind of like when Superman's parents are hopeful, but then it also just shows that Clark is his own person, different than what he was quote unquote destined to be.
Right. Now, let me ask you, this is a popular topic. Do you think that Robert Pattinson's the Batman in this Superman film can meet mash up well? Yes or no?
I think they could, excuse me, I think they could, especially since um, it's still a younger Batman and a younger Superman. And I do like that when they're around the same age and they're kind of figuring themselves out at the same time of trying to build like their team and their that friendship. Because Superman and Batman should be friends. I don't care if it's Robert Pattinson or someone else. Please do not make them fight unless there is a really, really, really good reason to make them fight. And I've seen it a lot too of people being like, this hopeful version of Superman is exactly what Pattinson needed, or like what he needs to continue being that change that he decided to be at the end of the Batman. And I think in the long run, because I know originally James Gunn was like, no, it's its own thing, its own thing. But especially with the delays of the Batman 2, and even I know they finished the script for it, but there's always rewrites and everything. They can definitely work it in. And originally James Gunn was like, no, it's going to be its own thing. But now a lot of fans are saying we want to see these two together. He's like, well, it could work because there's nothing saying that it can't work.
Right. And you know what? I said, and I said this in my spoiler a non-spoiler review on the Superman film, is that the only thing is creatively is going to be a challenge. I could see the
Mm-hmm.
challenge because it's how can you not sour Superman and how can you not sour Batman? Because there's going to have to be a creative sacrifice and on both. But I think, but see, it's and I see why James Gunn's is kind of hesitant because if he says it, then we all have like this real high expectation. And if one era is everybody's like, oh, it's a dead universe. The universe is dead. Like,
That
uh,
this is true.
so I wouldn't be surprised. I think he should do the Robert Pattinson's of the Batman, but but I'm okay with the idea of two different actors playing Batman. I mean, we have three Spider-Man, so on the same
Facts.
screen. So,
Four, if we're gonna count, the Spider Verse and everything.
oh yes, yes. And I do believe that there's a lot of actors that people want to see, play Batman. I think I can't remember the two actors' name, but one is from Supernatural,
Yep.
and then the one from who's on that Amazon Prime show, Reacher.
Yeah, I've seen those two guys a lot. I think I can't remember the guy from Reacher, and then the Supernatural guy is Jensen Ackles,
Yes.
which I know people want him because he's already voiced Batman and some animated stuff. I think they both could definitely work as an older Batman, and I think we could also get that as having an older Batman and a kind of younger Superman.
Oh, that would
I
work.
think I do think though, one of the things that I saw behind the scenes and stuff is that Warner Brothers and everything were weary of having two different Batman on screen, and that's why the Batman Part 2 got kind of delayed, and they're still not 100% sure where they're going to go with Batman Brave and the Bold. I think it would just be easier. Like, there's already so much going on trying to make a new universe. Just slap them together, bring Blue Beetle in. Then we have the Suicide Squad characters and Peacemaker. Just, there's nothing saying that those can't connect, because, like, we already know James Gunn, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Superman, Creature Commandos, those all already in the same universe. There's nothing in Blue Beetle that they couldn't bring that in. Same thing for the Batman. I think it's just easier. Also, my hopes is that we're going to get more fantastical Batman villains, because I know Matt Reeves' Batman's trading was still pretty grounded while still being really comic booky. But I was really hoping, and my fear was that we were never going to see a giant killer croc, a man bat, a Clayface that turns into a giant 6-foot monster.
Yeah,
I think if you just roll it over into the new DCU, then we can get those characters. I want to see Solomon Grundy in live action.
I do too. I was thinking about Mr. Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't be upset if they did a grounded version of Mr. Freeze, because I think there's some people I think of who can do that, like Zodiac Killer movie
Yeah,
type with Mr. Freeze. But again, I would not mind seeing a man in a helmet with a giant laser freezer gun.
just time to chill out.
Right.
Something like that. I have seen, I think it was a couple years ago, but I did someone on YouTube pitch their own idea for a Batman 2, and it revolved around a grounded but still kind of comic book Mr. Freeze. And I was like, if they ever did this, if that's what we were kind of going for, that would have been really cool. But my thing is, I want big bombastic comic book characters on screen.
And see, that's what I think too. I think now we're in the era, during this era of superhero genre, is we want to just I think people are just done with like the realistic. Let's just throw logic out the window. Let's just see that comic book, like you said, those comic book feels to it, like this Superman feel was.
Exactly.
Because it's like, we get it, CGI, VFX effects, we got them all. Like, let's just roll with it. Now,
Exactly.
now let's go to the other side of the superhero, a different universe, the MCU. What is your current opinion on it? And how do you feel now that Kevin Feige has, I think he was in Variant magazine, and he said he's going to restart the MCU, which is just a political way of saying reboot, because he wants to
Yeah.
recast Iron Man and Captain America. So, what's just your opinion on all that?
I think the MCU, after, like, post Endgame, didn't have the clearest idea of what they were wanting to do. And, like, we've seen it, there's been so many projects that just were not good. They were throwing too many things at the wall, trying to see what stuck. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people. I think the biggest thing they could have done, especially after Endgame, is to have a designated writer's room. Hire 10 people who are comic book fans, not have to be diehards, because we also know some of the diehard fans don't actually know how to write stories, because you've seen it all over the internet. But people who are actual writers, but actually enjoy reading the comic books, understand these characters, and just make a basic outline of where they think these movies should go, and kind of give a draft, and then hand it off to an so, like, a group of people make some drafts saying we want to make this movie, this movie, this movie, and they kind of do a skeleton script. Then they hand it over to a designated writer for Multiverse of Madness, and then but at least everyone's kind of working on the same template, and that's what we didn't get. And then, of course, I think they should have just recasted a lot of characters. Black Panther. I know Chadwick Boseman meant a lot to that character and to that community, but I think Black Panther 2 would have been a lot better seeing T'Challa versus Namor. There was just too much going on trying to make Shuri Black Panther, have her fight Namor, doing the whole Ironheart thing. It was just too much. I think they should have just recasted Black Panther. They should have recasted Kang versus trying to jump ship to Doom because there's just no setup. There was at least some setup for Kang. Doom, he might get slightly mentioned in Fantastic Four, and the next thing we know, he's trying to take over the entire multiverse. It's just a lot.
Right. Now, would you or have you cosplay like Doctor Doom or any of the Fantastic Four characters, or would you?
I would love to get my hands on the pro cosplay um, first steps suit, so I could do probably Johnny Storm, and then I wouldn't even mind. I know it's a terrible movie, but the 2015 Johnny Storm, I would probably do that as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just bad movie, but the suits weren't too awful.
I like the Doctor Doom suit in the first Fantastic Four movie with Jessica Alba and Chris
Yeah,
Evans. Like that suit, I just want Robbie Downey Jr. to wear that suit at least one time in a scene because that suit
it
is
was
just
pretty
kind of
good.
big. He's like big and bulky in it, and it just man, the to me doing Doomsday, you got to do that character right. You just
Yeah,
like because he has that aura like to me like there's I like Thanos, but I think Doctor Doom's better than Thanos. I just
yes, I'll agree with that.
I just man, so that's my only concern with the MCU is like you were just talking about the costumes and how cool they look. Like they always get the costumes good in the MCU. It's just now, like you were saying, like I really hope that now they focus better on those story arcs
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't know if you ever played like Marvel Rivals. Like
I don't
I would
play the game. I've seen people play it, but I don't actually. I'm not a gamer.
I would love to see that in some story arcs, like because they do it with Spider-Man, but that's kind of like Sony,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't MCU only really done it for Iron Man, Captain America, and I think twice for Ant Man. But I haven't seen any other, or I just can't remember. Well, Thor, of course, but I haven't seen any other characters really go up to another variant suit that is in the comic books. And so,
Yeah,
what I like to see with the Fantastic Four is in the MCU is like them wear those suits from Marvel Rivals because it's kind of like they got it from the comics and I think like things like that would help people want to watch more of the MCU
they just have more of
because
that synergy.
we're just it's just kind of like it's fine. Like not everybody has an Iron Man suit, but like your grounded characters always switch it up at times in comic books. So I
That's
always
true.
think like the one thing like Punisher, it's like I like seeing I'm glad Punisher's back, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, it wouldn't I wouldn't be mad if you wore that like that uglyish bluish jumpsuit that he wore in the 90s Spider-Man. Like
That's true.
I wouldn't be mad about it. I would be kind of like, okay, yeah.
If they do end up rebooting after Secret Wars, which I'm okay if they do like a soft reboot of the universe. It just makes sense at this point. They have so much going on. It's a good way to kind of bring in new actors and everything. And if we ever do get Punisher in that new universe, like I said, like the DC stuff, I want them to like really go into the comic book stuff and looks like embrace that camp. I want to see Punisher with the white go-go boots,
Yes.
white gloves, white boots, the skull that goes like all the way down to his thighs almost. I'm here for it.
because I like when I went through your Instagram account, like you cosplay a lot of suits that really haven't been shown in the live action with Marvel and DC as well. And it's like, man, like they just I mean, maybe it's just finance, finding the director, finding the right script, of course, and how do you make that all make sense? But it's like sometimes they don't really need a reason. Sometimes, it's just like anybody who wants to change up their everyday casual outfits. Like sometimes people go from jeans, then they want to wear khakis now. Like there's no
That's
like
true.
not every suit has to me. I think that's where like you were mentioning like the diehard comic book readers, like sometimes they're just not good at writing scripts. It's like
Hmm.
sometimes a human being just wants to switch it up. Like,
Right.
and
Like,
I can imagine superheroes do that too, like for other reasons.
I mean, I feel like we've already kind of seen it with Daredevil in the MCU. Like, we got the ketchup and mustard suit, we got the black and red suit, and then we got a few different variations of his red suit. So I think we're kind of going towards a good step. And then even Spider-Man a little bit, like, yeah, a lot of his suits were from Iron Man, but like in was it No Way Home, he had like four different outfits because he had the Iron Spider and then the Bosco suit that had the upgrades put onto it, and then he finally wore the final swing suit, which is a beautiful suit, by the
Oh
way.
yeah. And speaking of, I like your wigs. Like I only own two wigs, one for
Mm-hmm.
Superman and one for Link from Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
And I was wanting to get into take this conversation to the anime. I seen you a lot of your cosplay as anime characters. What are ones that you really are proud of the most that came all together as far as the anime outfit?
I think some of my favorite anime cosplays that I've done is definitely Star Platinum. Just how I got that one, I've got a lot of recognition for. Um, just because like the bodysuit I ordered from AliExpress, but I did a lot of altering it to add all the black outlines and the shading, the cross hatching. So like the biggest thing when a lot of people see that they're like, "Wow, you really brought the Akira art style to life." And I was like, "Thank you," because I spent a lot of time making sure I added the cross hatching and just all that 2D detail while still being three dimensional.
And I seen that one's my favorite. I was like, dang, like you nailed that to the T. Like,
Appreciate it.
what's your
Um,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say my other probably favorite one is probably the um I can't remember the name of the movie exactly, but it's the my Natsu that I've done from the one of the dragon fairy tale movies when he starts kind of turning like into his half dragon form.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that. What's your current anime? What are you watching currently as far as anime?
Currently, I guess I would say Dawn to Dawn, but I'm still on season one. I haven't really been watching a lot of stuff recently. If it's not like in a movie theater, like brand new like movies, I just don't have a lot of time right now to like watch TV. So I'm just like on a stockpile of animes right now.
I'm on season two of Dawn to Dawn.
It
What do you like about that? I think that one's one of Netflix's better anime originals.
uh I think I don't really know what to like to say I like about it. I just think like the little bit that I have seen, it's pretty funny. Um, and I'm a big fan of like, of course, sci-fi and aliens, and then I like that mix of aliens and then Ghost and how they kind of like mix up. So I'm very interested to see where the story goes. But like I said, I'm only like halfway through season one.
Right. Without spoiling it for you. I like I want to cosplay, and I bet you can pull it off, but I want to cosplay when he turns into that demon, like not the not the emo one, but like the by the witch, like hers.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that one I want to do, like I want to find that. I want to find like a white wig, modify it. Like that one is such a cool design and draw. Like that's why I like about it is just the animation to it. It's just
Hmm.
everything's so well detailed. But I just really want to cosplay that. I'd cosplay his other form, but where he's kind of sad and whatever. But like I really like this first one where when they first show him, he goes in that like abandoned like tunnel underneath
Yeah,
the
he's just.
bridge. Like that was crazy.
I would definitely like to do Okarun. If I ever did though, it probably wouldn't be for a long time, just because I kind of have this thing that when things are like really hyped up, unless I'm really into it, I probably won't jump on the quote unquote bandwagon. And I'll wait till the hype kind of dies down to then cosplay something because I really do like cosplaying a lot of niche or like not as relevant stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Um, do you have a favorite like type of anime that you like to stick to?
Um, I like seinen, so it's still that fantastical stuff to it, but it's usually a lot darker story. Like Tokyo Ghoul is probably one of my favorite manga of all time, but then it's my favorite seinen series next to like Berserk, of course.
Oh, I love Berserk. Like that's such a. I feel like that's such an underrated. Like I don't think a lot of people give it love as much as it deserves.
I think it doesn't get as much love to the actual message of the story because there's just a lot of like, especially like gym bros, which me also being a gym bro, there's like just like, oh yeah, guts is so strong, oh, and then I'm like, but you don't understand the sadness of Berserk. Like I appreciate Berserk not because it's just a guy killing demons. I appreciate because it's people trying to learn how to love and like appreciate each other even though they've done awful things and the world that they live in is awful.
I always like I'm kind of like the classic in a way. I like Dragon Ball.
Hell yeah.
I like, like Sailor Moon. Like
Hmm.
that's there's a couple characters in that series that I want to cosplay. I'm just procrastinating it at the moment.
I
But
felt that.
and then like I love Attack on Titans to Sword Art Line
Hmm.
and then Hero of Shields. Like I
I
like
haven't
those.
watched that one yet.
It's one of those little comedy quirky medieval fantasies types with a little bit of harem in it, but
Gotcha. Yeah, the I guess like the isekai genre, the one that I started and I haven't finished it yet, but is the Red Ranger gets transported to an isekai or whatever.
oh yeah, isn't it called Go Go Loser Ranger or
No,
something?
no, that's a different one.
Okay, okay.
But there's another one where like a Red Ranger gets transported from like the Sentai world to an isekai.
Oh, I gotta check that
And
out.
yeah, I watched the first couple episodes and I was like, this is perfect because it has everything of like a fantasy anime with Power Rangers. How could you not go wrong?
Right, and I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers. Like
Same.
my favorite one, and it's only this one. Like it's the Green Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think that's like the best Sentai suit. Like I love the White Ranger suit. Don't get me wrong. I love like the Dino Thunder. I love anything that Tommy Oliver wore, but that Green Ranger suit is my favorite. Like that suit to me is just like I that's just my favorite.
It's
And
definitely up there for me. But for me, I'm a diehard. SPD's my favorite season. Shadow Ranger's my favorite Ranger.
I
I
love
I know
SPD.
that's sometimes overhyped, but it is in my opinion, the best written, best. It looks the best. It's just peak Power Rangers. You can never go wrong watching SPD.
How do you feel the state of Power Rangers where it's at? And like, why do you think it's not where the MCU and DC, why do you think it's not there yet on that type of level?
Just overall, the fan base isn't as big because you have to think like Marvel and DC, those comic books have been around for way longer than Power Rangers has. Power Rangers still been around for a good 30 years. But it was always just kind of seen as that like really kiddie, really campy, even though the comic books are the same thing. Um, and I think the biggest thing that Power Rangers, like kind of why they're not in the big zeitgeist as that I feel like they should be, is because no one ever gave the 2017 movie a chance.
No, they didn't.
And it grinds my gears every time I go on TikTok and I see people in 2025 being like, maybe that Power Rangers movie wasn't so bad. And I was like, it was never bad.
Yeah,
It was a
right.
great film. I cried during that movie, okay?
You know, it'd be cool because I thanks to Tubi, I watched the Power Rangers in its original form. Like
Mm-hmm.
and I think I think creatively you can mix the two together and like create this universe. Like I think you could do it. I think the idea of like maybe there was a timeline in the same universe where before Jason and Tommy, there was these brothers who lived thousands of thousand years, just like in the Super Sentai. And I
You
think if you
definitely could.
and I think it could work. I just don't. I know it'd be a challenge. You just need the right director and the right screenwriters and all that. But I think like ideally, if they would just find a way to combine all of it, because you honor the Super Sentai. Because I watch, you can go on YouTube and watch all the Sentai shows of each version, and I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you what, some some of the story plots in the Sentai is not that bad. Like it actually makes a lot more sense. You
No,
know.
it especially like watching, I don't know if you also watch like Common Rider,
Yep.
but a lot of those stories get really dark because the way Japan kind of censors a lot of their stuff, it's not as watered down as we do in America. And so a lot of their stuff that's meant for kids, you're sometimes like, maybe that's for like teenagers at least. But yeah, I think Power Rangers, I think the for the American brand of Power Rangers, especially since we're not adapting Sentai anymore, because Sentai is like the last few seasons were very driven by like Japanese culture, so it'd be hard to bring that over to the West. But I think Power Rangers just needs to do their own thing. I think they try to cradle too much on the Mighty Morphin, which I get it. That's the most recognizable season. That's what makes money. But if you just throw something out there and be like, this is Power Rangers, it's not, forget your dad's Power Rangers. This is your Power Rangers. I think they can just like do something original, or, they keep trying to make a reboot show, a reboot movie. Do what anime did. Give us an animated Power Ranger show that's a Netflix exclusive or something.
That'd be so sick.
That
That'd be so cool.
it'd be the perfect place for it. You can drop a 12 episode season, see how it does, and hopefully if Netflix doesn't do the thing of where, oh, if everyone in the world doesn't watch it in the first 3 days, we'll cancel it. But if they actually give it time to get some traction, I think Power Rangers could really make a comeback. It's just people need to put the time and money towards it.
I totally agree because like that was my first cosplay is the Green Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
and when I went to my first Comic Con, there was kids who knew who I was, like knew who that Power Ranger was, which that you know they're like, aren't you a little too young to even know what Mighty Morphin Power Ranger
Right.
is? Like, shouldn't you be at the one on Netflix? But
Like Megaforce or something.
yeah, like, but there's kids that are like, I know who that is, and they wanted pictures, and then there's people around our age that just I was just kind of shocked that people have that still love for that version of the Mighty Morphin and others, of course. I love Zeo Rangers too. That was
Yeah.
also one of my favorites. And
Zeo's also a good season.
I know a lot of people don't like the ones with the car, but the cars, not SPD, but with the little boy as the
Tur-
Blue Ranger, Turbo.
Turbo.
But when I watched the Sentai, who was it? There was a little boy who was a White Ranger, and he just grew into an adult.
That's
So
right. I think it's Die Ranger
yeah,
where it's what ended up being Mighty Morphin White because they kind of just took the white Die Ranger suit and added it to the Zoo Ranger suits for Mighty Morphin. But yeah, in that season, I think his name's like Kiba or something.
yeah.
He's
So
a kid who just grows into a person.
yeah, so I'm just like, just just getting into cosplay. It just opened my eyes, like, oh, maybe there's like something like the Power Rangers or even like the Teenage Mutant Turtles to again like Marvel, DC, you name it. Like there's I was more shocked there actually is a large fan base of maybe one particular character or
Mm-hmm.
just one particular group. Like I said, like I was really shocked about who people just recognize the Green Power Rangers and just like I said, the love for it. Like if I had like a Zeo cosplay outfit, I'm sure people would recognize it or be like, "Oh, I know that it is Power Ranger." At least saying that.
100%.
I just, I think like movie studios and TV studios, they can learn a lot just by scrolling through people's like cosplays on their
Yeah, just be
social
like,
media.
what's this? Oh, that looks cool. Let's do research and make a movie about that.
Yeah, like because this is man, the love for this stuff is so powerful and so
Mm-hmm.
passionate. It's like again, like with power, and it's like it's not like where it's at, but it's in some way people still love this thing, love that group, and
No matter when the franchise is at its lows or its highs, PR will always have its fans. And I love that about it because it's one of the more niche fandoms in the grand scheme of things. But I've gone to a Power Ranger only convention. Like, how could you not just like be happy because hey, not a lot of people like Power Rangers, but I'm at a convention. So there's at least 50 plus people in one place that like Power Rangers. It's a great feeling.
oh yeah, and even like that. I mean, it's such a crazy brand. Like I even when you go to like anime cons, like I've been to
Mm-hmm.
just it's nuts. Like I fell in love with it. I went to my first one last year
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and I just fell in love with everything about that, the concept
Yeah.
of it, and just man, I it made me just like anime more, but it made me realize how much in today's culture right now, like anime is such a huge impact in the
Facts.
entertainment. And it's crazy because when I was growing up, people made fun of you for watching it. Now it's kind of
Yeah.
like there's a part of me
Now
that
it's the
wants to,
cool thing.
yeah, there's a part of me, and that's just the old me, just wants to gatekeep it. But I said, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't be like that. But with anime, do you like to cosplay more with the animes or do you like to stick to like the superheroes?
I like to I always have the hope to have like a good balance because I am such a big fan of both. It just ends up kind of being easier sometimes for me to do Marvel and DC characters just because like I know a lot more people. Like I have friends that don't know anything about anime, but they love comic books. So especially if we want to do like a group cosplay or like duos, they'll be like, "Well, I have Gwen Stacy or I have Steve Rogers, and I was like, oh well, I have Miguel and I have Sam Wilson, so it's easier to do that. Because one, like I do Soul from Soul Eater, and I've been trying to find people to do a Soul Eater group for so long because that is one of my favorite animes.
Well, I'm in. I'm in. You
Let's go.
let's plan it. Let's figure it out. Like that's one of my favorite anime Soul Eaters. Like
It's so good.
if you like Soul Eaters, do you like the Black Clover series?
I haven't watched any of Black Clover. I've been meaning to. Again, it's on that long list of things that I've very behind on.
When you do, let me know. We'll do a watch party together because I want to see
Bet.
you react to it. Because if you like Soul Eater, you're gonna like this. I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but
Mm-hmm.
the tone of it, tone, the atmosphere of it,
Okay.
it has that feel to it. I'm not saying because if I say it's just like people on the internet's gonna get mad, but
That's true.
it's
It's
not. I'm not
similar, people.
saying
It's similar.
yeah, just kind of identical in certain ways. But all right, man, that's man, that's a I because I seen some of your soul characters cosplay that you did on there, and I'm like, you got it down to detail. Like
Thank you.
that's my favorite. I'm glad you do you only do it during like spring or summer, or would you do it in the winter? Because
No,
sometimes you get cold shirtless.
I go year round whenever, so like this last year and probably going into next year, I'm not going to be as um like doing as much just because I got a lot of like life stuff going on, and like I'm not doing as many conventions because like I said, once you kind of been to a couple, they're all kind of the same, and I don't do the celebrity thing. I don't really buy stuff, so I go for the cosplay. I feel like I'm at a point now where I can still not go to a convention and still post my cosplay and people are gonna see it.
Nice. Would you ever like get involved with part of the committee group at a Comic Con or anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely try to, like, here and there. Like I'm actually waiting, fingers crossed, that I have a meetup that I applied for to host at New York Comic Con this year. So if that
Let's
gets
go.
approved, hopefully we bring uh, Sad Man's Death Parade for My Hero to New York Comic
Nice.
Con this year. I'm really hoping that gets approved.
Oh, I'm hoping now too. Like we got everybody bug them, bug Comic New York Comic Con about it. Make it happen. Now, with these last five questions, this is more of like advice you would give to somebody.
Okay.
So, what is a good tip for a beginner who wants to learn how to use the makeup, the paint face, the cosmetic stuff? Like, what's a good tip for a beginner that you wish you knew, but you can share with others?
I would say don't be scared to try it because I know that's a lot of people's thing. Like, oh, I don't know if I can do this character because I don't know how to do face paint. You're not going to learn to do face paint if you don't ever do it. So, I would say buy buy face paint, and you don't need to start with Maron or whatever the high end is. Find something that's pretty cheap, just so you can get the practice in. Practice your makeup. Don't do what I do, and the day of the con, do your makeup test for the first time. I just got really lucky sometimes, but if it's something, excuse me, that you're worried about, practice it, and like everything, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're happy, keep doing it.
All right. Question number two. If somebody wanted to start watching anime, what would be the first recommendation you would tell somebody to watch?
Soul Eater.
So later, nice. Funny story, real quick. I had a friend. He wanted to get into anime, and I decided to throw him in the ocean with the sharks. So I made him watch High School DxD.
Oh,
He
oof.
wasn't he wasn't ready for it, but
Yeah, there's definitely a few other ones. Like I have a friend and they started with because they were like, oh, I don't really watch anime. Like I don't watch a lot of stuff. And their brother finally convinced them to watch anime. So they started with Attack on Titan. I was like, that's a good one to start with, but it's also very intense versus like Soul Eater. It's something where it's lighthearted, like it has its moments, but you're still just like, oh, this is just a silly, goofy show. Attack on Titan, people are dying from episode one, and you're like, oh my god, what is going on?
Oh yeah, because like I remember I watched it non-dubbed, so I watched it in its in the Japanese original audio,
Mm-hmm.
and just that scene where the boy's mom is getting ready to get chomped up. I was like, this whoever's voice acting this kid, he's really like he's really giving like a
They went
performance.
for it. It was a great performance.
So I'm like, oh, that's how I would react too if I watched my mom get eaten by a giant titan. Like,
Exactly.
I was like, oh my god. But then I watched it in dubbed, and I was like, well, I mean, it wasn't that passionate about
Yeah, I definitely can see that.
it. um, question number three: what is a cosplay outfit that was really hot to wear for you?
Um, Depending on the years, it's definitely anything like spandex because those suits you're essentially just locked inside of them. Um, so yeah, any like Spider-Man type suit, my Superman suit I recently wore to Philadelphia in March, and I was sweating bullets inside of that thing.
Man, when I put on my Dark Vader one, that I started sweating. I
Oh
was
yeah, I
like,
get the helmets
yeah.
just because you're you're breathing back onto yourself too. It's just
And then I
ugh.
can't see no more. I'm like, everything's fogged up.
Yeah.
Watch out, kid. Like, um, and in question number four, if you can share like what type of goal or would you like to achieve like in with cosplaying? Like, is there something that you may have saw like other content creators do and that's where they're at now? Like, for example, for me, I would like to be as successful as this content creator named Straw Hat Goofy.
Oh yeah.
Like, he went from here to the red carpet. Is there something like that that you want to achieve that you can share with us?
Um, I would love, and like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I'm gonna cosplay regardless. But with the amount of work that I feel like I do put into my costumes and stuff, it would be really nice to at at least someday get like invite to like the premieres of like Marvel DC movies and like show up in cosplay, be there with the actors, um, that type of stuff. And then like I'm hoping within the next year I kind of start having a YouTube channel as well. So just kind of getting my own like community, I guess. Like I always thought of like if I were to be at that point of social media and having a following, what would I call them? I was like, well, people call me Rex. I would call them like the Rexlings or like the Chompers or something. So I just kind of having like my own little community would be like a really cool goal someday.
Awesome, awesome. And I want to be part of that community if I can join anytime.
100%.
And then the final question is if you can make one law that everybody had to follow, what would it be?
One law everyone had to follow in regarding to
Anything.
anything.
Anything you want.
Oh, I don't know. Um, I don't know. I guess like just let people enjoy what they want to enjoy, like you see too many fights and kind of keeping it to like the nerd sphere. You see too many fights about people being like, well, I don't like this, so you can't like it either. You shouldn't like it either. And be like, that's not right. And I'll bring it back to Superman. The Snyder Bros versus the Gun Bros, right? I'm not the biggest fan of what Zack Snyder did for his movies, but if someone absolutely loves that version of Superman, I'll have a conversation with them Be like, hey, I like this, but I didn't really like that parts of Zack Snyder's Superman. But at the end of the day, if that's what they love, I'm not going to tell them they can't continue to love that. I'll just let them be in their own little world, loving the Zack Snyder films, and I'm going to come over here and love the James Gunn film. It's that easy. Like, just let people enjoy what they want to enjoy.
Yeah, just stop the gatekeeping. That's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, you know what? Like, if everybody asks me, like, do I think David Cornsweet, and I hope I said his last name right,
Yeah.
always want to ask me, did he do better than Henry Cavill? And I always say, as as like as looks, I think David is bet
Mm-hmm.
is a better, but I think both as a story, just movie to movie, the plots, I think they're both good. I know that's a easy cop out, but the 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 Man of Steel and this Superman film, their stories are kind of like the origins in the sense of it, but they're
Mm-hmm.
both good in their own versions of it. Like if you're not a fan of like the way Zack Snyder directs, and it's really like, Zack Snyder is he was under the wings of Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of his inspiration is The Dark Knight, and
100%.
Christopher Nolan, boy, wait, when he directed The Dark Knight and with Christian Bale and all, I mean, yeah, it's a classic. Like, so I get if you're not a fan of the camera tones and the lighting and all that, and Man of Steel was more of a like a theater dramatic feel to me.
Agreed.
Like, you know, this was about Greeks and gods and
Mm-hmm.
fallen angels. This it had like that religious feel to it to me.
Exactly.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that if you're into it, because that was still to me that's a good plot. That's a good story to tell in regardless, because there is a fan base for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but with this one, with this Superman film, this is more of a comic book feel. Like it's a
Yeah.
comic book story. Like I can imagine 5-year-old me watching this on the Superman animated series that used to be on like Fox,
Yeah.
WB, Cartoon Network, whatever. Like I can see that because that's that story that I got that I felt from this film.
I'll
So I
agree with
think
that.
there's nothing. I think they're both good in their own ways because again, like it's the same character, it's the same, it's owned by the same company, but it's just like a different viewpoint of a storytelling. So, you
I
know,
think like when people ask like, "Oh, who's a better Superman, David or Henry?" I think if you're going off of like who Superman is as a character at his core, David Cornsweet is better like representation of Batman. But when people ask like who did Superman better, it's kind of hard. I think both actors did great with the material that they were given.
yeah,
Because honestly, I feel like if Henry Cavill had been like if the roles were reversed, right? I think if Henry Cavill was cast as Superman in the James Gunn movie and gave the same material that David Cornsweet did, of course he wouldn't put on the exact same performance because they are two different actors, they have two different styles. But I still think he could have had that more hopeful, cheery, like I'm gonna go save a squirrel type Superman than the material that he was given for the Man of Steel, because both David Cornsweet and um, Henry Cavill are amazing actors, and it's just like I don't like comparing them in that way of who did it better. It's like they had such different material to work with that I feel like I can't really compare them on like a movie storytelling wise, but like the version of Superman that they portrayed, David did it better because I feel like that's more true to the comic version and how Superman usually is.
right. And like you just said, like you have that, and then like a lot of people like the DC comic animations that they it was the first round they did after the Flashpoint.
Hmm.
Like that was really good material because like I think that was an era where people were like, yeah, I kind of want to see what would Superman do if he
Went a
kind
little
of
crazy.
turning. Yeah. Or like or with Wonder Woman being more Amazonian like, not
Hmm.
like the old Wonder Woman TV
Yeah.
show series. Like I get that. And then like, like Gail Gott, I think she did such a good job as Wonder Woman. I know a lot of people didn't like Wonder Woman 84 and stuff,
Yeah. I didn't like that movie, but the first one, that's a great film.
but I think she still is just kind of like Henry Cavill. Like they really portrayed that particular character so well, and they brought it
Hmm.
to life because like James Gunn's has I forgot who he mentioned that he always praises her. I forget her name. I apologize, but he's already throwing names out about who could be Wonder Woman in his universe and stuff. But it's just going to be that same type of scenario, like we're talking about two
Hmm.
different actors playing Superman. It's just going to be like that with Wonder
Yeah.
Woman.
People
But
are people are always going to compare back and forth, but I think for me, if I see a movie and I see an actor, I think they did a good job, and I think they get a good movie, I'm going to keep watching. And if I
oh
think,
yeah, for
oh, this one
sure.
wasn't that good, better luck for the next one.
What'd you think of real quick before I end it? There's a show called Bet. It's on Netflix and it's based off this anime. Oh, I just forgot the name. It's the Japanese name for a pulsive gambler. And
Wouldn't know.
but I'm gonna look it up. But it's such a I like that series because it's about gambling, right? And this woman is she she's getting revenge for her parents and stuff.
Hmm.
And it's Kakaguri. That's the name of the anime.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I haven't watched it, and it's been again on that ever growing list of shows that I'm like, I should probably watch this sometime.
Kakaguri is good, and I think the live action Bet is really
Hmm.
good. And yeah, they obviously Netflix can't adapt things because they tried. There's in some episodes they try to do, as I like to call it, that anime feel moment. And
Hmm.
sometimes if people forget like sometimes what you see in anime works because it's drawn.
Exactly.
Like you can really you have a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more freedom. But when you're
Versus real bodies doing real body things that.
doing the anime thing, it's kind of like like in this one in Kakaguri, the main woman in this, she's famous for doing that cat pose. Like
Hmm.
she's on the ground doing the cat back thing up. They did that in the live action and it didn't execute right. It felt kind of awkward, looked kind of weird. I didn't feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable watching it. But Netflix tried. But I always like look at those things. But if you like the show Bet, you should always just I think people should just allow people to enjoy it versus
Exactly.
like Kagaguri. So I totally agree with that. But man, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate this. Um, if they can follow you, where can they follow you at? Where can they keep up to date with all you? Floor is yours.
Um, my main platform is going to be on Instagram, Rexa underscore cosplay. That's REXA underscore cosplay. And then I'm not as active on there anymore, but while the app still exists, if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's going to be selfaware.rexa, same spelling REXA. Those are my main two platforms. Keep an eye out on those because hopefully someday soon I have a YouTube up as well. But yeah, this was a great thing to do. Thank you so much for having me. This is like my first time doing this. So um, if you ever want me back, just let me know.
For sure, 100%, man. And everybody else, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys and peace out.